Hello, and welcome to Tales After Dark. This is a podcast that will be filled with scary stories and diving deep into the world's most treacherous cult crimes. Many of the paranormal and let's not meet scary stories heard here are from articles I have found on Reddit. Author information and usernames will always be included in the show notes below each episode. To submit a terrifying tale of your own, please email stories.talesafterdark@gmail.com and make sure to follow /TAD podcast on Reddit for Tales After Dark fan subreddit information. This show is brought to you by the MW Network and produced by me, your host, Emma Dawn. Do you have a podcast or show idea of your own? For more information on the MW Network, visit themommywines.com. Tales After Dark is made possible by our sponsors, the Home Bookkeeper Masterclass. Looking to create a life of balance and financial freedom? Check out how I was able to ditch the 9-to-5 grind and spend more time creating and doing the things I love by becoming a home bookkeeper. More information on the Home Bookkeeper Masterclass can be found on my company website, edjconsultinggroup.com, under Resources. Zaya Active. What's better than curling up in a nice pair of leggings and your Tales After Dark merch sweatshirt and listening to a spooky tale? In my completely biased opinion, not much. Visit myzaya.com/EmmaDawn for premium and affordable men and women's active and loungewear, and make sure to check out the Tales After Dark merch store on teespring.com. If you are a brand and would like to sponsor the Tales After Dark podcast, please get in touch at stories.talesafterdark@gmail.com. Now let's get into today's episode. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Tales After Dark. I have my dog Zeppelin sitting right here next to me, and I've read a few scary stories now, so I think she's starting to get scared. So the story I have for you... Lay down. So the story I have for you in this episode is a no sleep story, and it's kind of a long one. I know the last couple episodes have been a bit on the shorter side, so I'm really excited to read this one. The title of this sparked my interest, and there are tons of, I don't even know what you call them on Reddit, like pushing it up, karma, comments. There's tons of comments. And I normally like to read these stories for the first time with all of you. But I am just super interested to read this story. The title is, I Get Paid to Feel Fear. No, this isn't supernatural. It's just very fucking hard. So you read a title like that, and you're like, okay, odd, right? So, yeah, I'm really interested to see what this person's job is. Because as soon as I read the title, I was like, this is being saved. I'm definitely going on the show. So, I'm sitting in bed. I'm super cozy. My dog is trying to get comfortable. If you want to follow my dog on Instagram, I will go ahead and start leaving her handle and a link to her Instagram in the show notes below. If you guys don't check out the show notes of the podcast, that is where you will find a link to the story on Reddit so you can read more like it. Go show it some love. It also has author information, the show sponsor links, and my profile link to my Reddit profile, along with my Instagram page. So if you want to go follow me on Instagram, I highly recommend it. Zeppelin is always reading these stories with me, So if you want to go follow her, she is a chocolate golden doodle. She's very cute. But yeah, we are here and we are ready. So let's go ahead and get into this story. I get paid to feel fear. No, this isn't supernatural. It's just very fucking hard. I'm paid to be afraid. It's the combination of senses, rather than any individual part, that probes the innermost folds of my brain to elicit the kind of terror that most of humanity left behind a few millennia back. The smell creeps through, even past the mask. The worst is smoldering cadavers, sizzling with a smoky sweetness that's driven me away from outdoor grilling. The heat. That much is obvious, but no one understands what heat really is until the floor below you is on fire. Flames licking your feet no matter where you stand. The feel. I knew a kid, Roy, who didn't realize he was afraid of the mask covering his face while the flames cranked the inside of his suit up to 160 degrees. He learned this the hard way, when his panicked mind told him to jump from a 9-story building rather than endure any more of the trapped feeling of being weighed down and covered in heat. But it's the sound that gets inside my head. Digs, it claws into the soft gray matter and latches on like a song stuck on repeat. When the fire exists in every direction, you can only use sound to ornate yourself. So all you know of the world is heat and isolation. People are quick to point out that most buildings have strict fire codes, so they don't need to worry about getting caught in an inferno like they did 50 years ago. They're comforted by statistics. Tell that to Roy's mother. She had a fatal heart attack 6 months after she insisted on seeing what was left of her son, when his head had cracked open like a cantaloupe. Running, lungs burning, adrenaline pushing toward the edge of panic that my mind calmly held at bay while using the stress to move forward. Darkness, punctuated by flame, smoke. I was checking the perimeter of a 3-story house while the rest of my crew ran inside. There was no think, just do. People die while others ponder. We had to get our thinking done ahead of time. To seep it deep into our bones so that we could only react without wasting a single moment, wondering if we'd regret any given decision forever. I'm going to fucking die. I stopped and looked up. A young woman was leaning out the 3rd-story window, smoke pouring over her head. Fire was belching from the 2 windows on either side of her. She had maybe a minute before the conflagration would consume the spot where she stood. "We're coming for you. Just calm down. You'll be fine." I lied. Lying is kind sometimes. She coughed. "Can you catch my daughter?" she wailed, already losing strength. My blood ran cold. I ignored it. "Hang on. They're coming up to get you." "The fire's already behind me. I'm not getting out," she wheezed. She was right. I could have told her to jump, but she was looking down from 19 feet up, and due to my height, she was just 13 feet away. The appearance of danger is more important than danger itself. I didn't have time to coach her through it. She held out a bundle. I decided I had to. Yes, I promise that I will catch your baby. The first lick of flame caressed her shoulder. I held out my arms. I was going to catch this kid simply because I had to. The guarantee of success emboldened in me. 1, 2, 3, I screamed. The bundle fell. It went fast, so I was aggressive. I moved my arms forcefully toward the baby. I had to. I felt it hit my arms and fell back to the ground from the force and altered balance. A jolt of pain shot up my ass and through my back, but I held the baby still. I had to. She was in my arms. I'd done it. Of course I fucking had. I peeled back the cloth to look down at the kid. My arm was beneath her neck, and her head lolled back like a sack of potatoes. Her eyes were wide open and unmoving, reflecting the dancing flames above the house. She didn't cry, blink, twitch, or breathe. From the way her neck was pressed against my forearm, it was obvious that this baby was dead. The mind does strange things in the eye of a hurricane. With clinical detachment, I realized that the force of my catch had broken her neck instantly. I slowly got to my feet, still cradling the child. "Eliza!" A distant scream penetrated my thoughts. Because it was laden and even more terror than I was feeling in the moment, I looked up dazedly. The woman from the window was running towards me. Her clothes and hair were scorched, but she was alive. 2 firefighters trotted just behind her. Clearly, they had gotten her out just in time. My lie had been a truth. I'd never have suspected as much. I truly believed that the recovery team would have to peel her charcoaled corpse from where it had fused to the bones of the house. They had to do it all the time, and usually only leave a little bit of grilled human behind, without telling the next occupant. I brought my thoughts back to the woman. She was sprinting, still smoking, wanting to hold the only part of her life that hadn't been burned to ash. She believed that this reunion was about to be the best moment of her life, not realizing that she would never experience happiness in the same way after she'd seen what I had done. I faced the woman and waited for her to arrive. So this story turned out to be quite a bit different than what I was thinking. Like I said, I like to read these stories with you for the first time, but I definitely did not think that this story was going to be about a firefighter. But that was really sad and not as scary as I thought it was going to be, but I never realized how just absolutely terrifying being a responsive worker, like an EMT or a police officer or a firefighter, just must be. So I'm actually going to keep this story. I really liked it. Sometimes I read some stories and they don't turn out like I think they're going to, so I don't post them. But this one, even though it's exactly 100%, 180-degree switch of what I thought it was going to be, I'm definitely going to keep it because I think firefighters have terrifying jobs. And it's definitely something that I didn't fully comprehend until now. So if you like this story and want to hear more, make sure to subscribe, and as always, leave a rating and review. If you have something you would like to let me know, leave a voice memo, and maybe you'll find it in an upcoming episode. The link to leave a voice memo will be in the show notes below. And until next time, stay spooky.